Hello, this is Kev.
And Lil. We're discussing relationships in all of its forms and everything in between.
We've been together over 30 years. We've seen some things together and apart.
So if you want to laugh or need advice, come spend some time with Kev and Lil.
Have we met? Hello, everybody. So we are back. Hopefully the audio is better on this episode.
We apologize.
We're gonna have to do a better. We're gonna have to probably re-record that last one, unfortunately. So not that we run out of topics, but I do. I'm part of a bunch of different Facebook groups, and we post on Instagram and TikTok, and with that, I guess I found myself in Pinterest as well, and an interesting topic came up. It was 8 or 9, but whatever it was, I found this one called "Things a Man Should Never Do with Another Woman," and I brought this up to Lily, and we went over it the first time, and we both gave like strange looks. Just so you're aware, the chief editor for this one was Kisses and Hugs. That's with a
Z's.
Double Z-E-S, and Hugs with a Z at the end on Pinterest. So I'm going to read some of it, and then we're going to give our opinions, so to speak, on these, okay? But what's marriage without loyalty, right? What's the essence of taking the vows before the altar if you still believe that you must interact with your female friends the way you have always done before marriage? Mm-hmm. Marriage is not just a relationship. It is a pact with your wife to stay faithful to each other till death separates you.
R.I.P.
However, this is a pact that is not so easy to keep for many men. And for some women, let's just be honest. Mm-hmm. The reason for this difficulty is not so far-fetched. Many men have continued to relate with other females the same way they did when they were single. Mm-mm. Such constant interactions gradually erode your resolve to stay faithful in marriage, and soon you may find yourself doing things you are not so proud of. To save you unnecessary strain that comes with cheating and trying to keep it secret from your spouse, this article will be elaborating on a list of things that any loyal husband should avoid doing with other women other than his wife. When you communicate and interact with other women, here are some of the things that you should avoid doing or talking about. So this was 8 things a married man should never do with another woman. I found one that was 9, but we're just going to keep it to the 8 for now. I'll start with the first one, right? Mm-hmm. You should avoid giving details about intimacy with your wife. I would give the description on this, but I feel like I think we have enough just by the title. The hell is wrong with you? Why are you telling other women about your intimacy with your wife?
I could tell you.
Go ahead.
They'll complain or bitch about his wife not giving him any, or she doesn't do this in bed, or she doesn't do that in bed, because he wants that woman to step in and said, "I'll do it for you."
Well, I've never done that, so it doesn't matter. I don't feel guilty in that. I don't feel like I have to explain myself for that at all.
I think,
but that's just rude.
Yes, and I think the only time you should discuss intimacy
with another woman
if it's your therapist.
Yeah, I agree.
A medical professional.
Right, but I also believe that if it's a therapist, I feel like there's a little bit of a boundary there too. Because we've heard stories of guys that have gotten with their therapist. No. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not a common thing, but definitely we've heard that story. So I feel like, but I guess that's the therapist's problem, not the
Okay,
guys.
but let's say we're in couple therapy and we're having an issue in bed or intimacy or whatever. wouldn't you want to discuss it with our therapist or
Well, I mean, if there's a
marriage counselor?
dysfunction,
Yeah.
if there's definitely a dysfunction, if there's, if you're not getting enough,
But
or
they could help
she
us, like,
spits fire for whatever reason, fire crotch for whatever reason, but
You're
or
horrible.
he's like, no, he's all over the
Kevin,
place.
I'm
like
talking about
but-
intimacy.
But that's what I'm saying. Unless you're talking about those things like a medical issue.
Or it could
or
also
maybe,
be with anxiety. It could be PTSD. It could
Or
be
I'm not
anything.
turning you on anymore. Or, because
Lack
I might not
of,
look at like this crease in my forehead doesn't do it for you now. I don't know.
Listen, cut it out.
What? I'm just saying.
Like, for instance, when women go through menopause, they have a decrease in libido.
Libido, right?
And you can discuss that with your marriage counselor or your therapist. That's something that can help with the relationship.
Right. Okay. I believe though it's I guess that's the only place you can really do it because you wouldn't discuss that with your doctor, because it's not like you're both seeing the same doctor. For the most part, you're not.
Well, let's say let's say, for instance, you're telling me, oh, we're gonna, we haven't done it in a while, whatever. So
I say
then
that every other day.
I'll discuss it with my GYN or my PCP, primary care physician. And I'll tell them, look, it's like I don't have the desire or anything. And that's when they'll tell you, oh, you're probably going through menopause. You have a decrease in libido. And there's things that you can do for that. But if you don't talk about it, then you're going to wind up talking to Fulana over there.
Fulana, that means, for those that don't know, is that other hoe.
It means that other person.
Right.
But
That hoe
that's
over there.
that's why I personally think that's why he says that to that other woman.
Fair. All right, so this leads us into the next one. You should avoid criticizing your wife in front of other women. This goes both ways.
Yeah,
This goes both ways.
I agree.
I think, I joke a lot, but I joke about everything. I have I'm not a comedian, but I certainly don't have boundaries when it comes to my jokes. But I wouldn't say I criticize you, but I do make a lot of gestures and
What do you mean?
I wouldn't say gestures. How can I say it?
I don't know.
I don't want to say I criticize because I know you do too. You say things about me. Oh, he's lazy. Oh, he's this. Oh, he doesn't help me around the house. Oh my gosh. Oh, but okay. But there's certain things. There's the evolution of a relationship too, where I can say stuff like, well, she doesn't do that anymore, or she doesn't treat me like she used to treat me. That sort of thing.
Well,
No,
relationships
this one over here,
change.
yeah, those lines are very, very. There's no lines anymore.
Well, you shouldn't
this
be
one over here
talking.
she does it all. So whatever.
It's true. You shouldn't be criticizing your significant other.
On both sides, because
Yeah.
that's unfair to fold in half. But yeah, I think that goes on both sides. Just because, and that's not fair to her either, because in one of the descriptions here, it even says that way she will feel safe and comfortable instead of feeling belittled or embarrassed by your words.
Yeah, she'll feel like that she's not good enough. So
I think if you've gone to that extent, you may have gone past the boundaries of your marriage, right? That might be the point where you may not be able to return. We had an episode not long ago, right, on divorce. Mm-hmm. Well, we had a 2-part episode on divorce, and one of the issues, at least for me, for her, was he was nasty critical, the stuff that he said. And she didn't really do that. And trust me, she had plenty of reason to, especially after the fact. But she didn't. And she even to this day, she goes, I'll always have love for him. But yeah, he crossed boundaries that, holy crap, that I remember when he told me some of the stuff that he said, I said, he is never coming back from this. You know, just the downright viciousness that
Yeah,
was said.
they like there's a saying, they may forgive, but they won't forget.
No, no. So the next one, I think this is bullcrap. Okay, you should avoid having a female best friend. So, this one hits a little close to home for me. I used to have what I consider a best friend, and I have a couple of them. Don't get me wrong; that were girls. I'm still somewhat close to them. Certainly not the way I used to be.
Well, because
But you know,
you changed.
Yeah. But one of them especially, I still call her my sister, for crying out loud. She's like a sister to me. I lost her, and I lost her because why, Lily? Why did I lose her?
I don't know. You tell me.
Really, you don't know why?
Oh,
Because I told
no.
you the other day why. Okay, I'll explain why.
No.
I'm gonna
you said
explain
you
why.
wanted to make this short. So, what this is trying to say is that opposite sex friends are good. I remember when we started dating, I met him at a club, and and he was with a group of his friends.
I want that.
And at the time, his friend, let's call her D, was dating someone, and they were there at the club, and his other friends and whatnot. So we met at that club. So when we started dating, I was like, wait, she's your what? She's your best friend? And the girl is gorgeous. She's still gorgeous, but she was gorgeous, and she still is. But I was like, I don't know. He goes, oh, she's been my best friend. She's like a sister to me. And as the time passed and as years passed, I realized, yeah, she is his best friend. And, well, one of his, because he has a lot of friends. One of his best friends.
One of my
And
closest.
she's from the opposite sex. And I didn't want to say, no, I don't want you hanging out with them, because I had male friends and I don't want to be a hypocrite. So as the years passed by, I realized she's like a sister to me too now. She's part of our family, or like we call it family. And
She's definitely.
yeah. So I also call bullshit on this one, because you could have a female best friend and I can have a male best friend. You have to trust each other, and you have to be honest with each other. And I think you can have a best friend from the opposite sex. I think this is bull crap, so I'm sorry.
You call BS on this
Yeah,
one?
I call BS.
Okay. Well, she took her
Number
away from me.
cuatro.
She took her away from me, though, just so you know.
She's mine, that's right.
She took her away from me. She did. She did. I mean, don't get me wrong. I still love her to death. Don't get me wrong. But she took her away
But he blames me.
for good reason.
She's mine. Whatever.
all right.
Next.
You must avoid being vulnerable with other women. So I'm going to give you a bit of
What does that
scenarios as well as descriptions here.
Okay.
We all face trials and challenges in life. They are par for the course. However, it is important that when you are going through such trials and challenges, you don't look for comfort in the arms of another woman.
Oh.
When you are vulnerable with other women, they may want to comfort you, and this may be the beginning of your sojourn into dangerous territory. You should only be vulnerable with your wife and your therapist, if you have one. You must work on finding solutions to your challenges with your partner and a few trusted friends, but never in isolation with another woman.
Yeah. That hits home to me, so you go first.
I think that goes in hand in hand with the female best friend thing. Because if it's a female best friend and she's been best friends with you prior, I don't see an issue with that. Now, I see an issue with it if it's someone you just got to know, if you just You know what I mean? Like if they're friends, because you know I have a lot of friends that are girls. I do. I'm just that guy. I know, and all of them know ain't nothing happening whether I want to or they do. It's not happening. But I will never. I mean, I am there for them, hands down. I mean, Lily's met plenty of them, if almost all of them, and she, and shoot, she becomes like a big sister to them, if not a sister to them as well.
I steal them away from
Yeah, to an extent you do. But it's one of those things where it's I would never go to someone else for comfort. And if I do, I'm an a-hole if I do that. That's just wrong.
I also think you should have discussed whatever you're discussing with this person or being vulnerable with this person. You should have discussed it with your partner first. And if you feel like it's not getting anywhere or if you feel like this person can help you, then I think you can be vulnerable, saying so-and-so, I had this discussion with Lily and I don't feel like it's...
I have a story for you, and I think you remember this person. I'm not going to say
I
their
was
name.
talking, but...
Oh, no, I apologize. Go ahead. My bad. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, you can be vulnerable if you're close enough to this person. Because I know all our friends, or shall I say your friends, because we're talking about the male here. I think you can be vulnerable with our friends, with our female friends.
I don't see why not.
Because they're
Nothing's
like our
happened.
sisters. And
Right.
yeah, that's what they're there for. We give each other advice all the time. We're always their sounding board. They're our sounding board. So once again, I don't know.
I think that's a little blurred. I mean, it depends on the woman in the relationship, meaning if it's someone fairly new, no. Because then the guy is trying to pull something.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. Now, if it's someone that's been around a while, I mean, yeah, there's the old adage of, breaking case of glass. You know what I'm saying? But come on, dude.
Okay,
Yeah, why are you in a marriage if you're going to do that?
Yeah.
Go get divorced and then, file your Tinder applications or whatever you want to call them, Bumble, whatever the heck, Hinge, whatever all those apps are, and get on that if that's what you want to do with your life.
But if you're married, this is specifically for married men, because I know I went through something similar when I was dating someone when I was very, very, very young, many moons ago. And this person, shut up, this person was the shoulder to cry on. Like when my boyfriend at the time wasn't around, which was most of the time. And he was a friend of ours, of our group friend from, way back when, like I said. And that's what happened in my case. I was vulnerable with this person.
And he took advantage of the situation.
And yeah, he was my shoulder to cry on, and it takes two to tango, so you can't
Well,
just
you weren't
blame
married
that.
at the time.
Yes, that's
so
what I'm saying.
A different story,
this
and
is
neither
for a
was that
married person. I was young.
not-
I was dating at the
Right.
time, but it can happen, so you have to be careful.
Well, and just the part of my story, I'm now can I say?
Yes,
Part of my story? so and Lily remembers this as well. There was a friend of mine, and she was dating this guy, and she used to have this habit of asking everybody's opinion on her relationship. Remember that girl? And I liked her. She was a nice girl. I mean, we got along. We hung out hard. You know what I mean? She was a friend.
Yeah, we used to go camping.
Yeah, and she was cool or whatever. And I liked the guy too. The guy was real cool too. You know. Well, remember Reggie for 3? And because I used to joke he used to look like Reggie Miller from the Pacers back in the day. But she used to have this habit of asking our opinions. And then, you know me, I'm honest. I'm honest to a fault. So I'm going to tell you my honest opinion. And she turned around and tell the guy exactly what I said. And I think it was more of one of those things where she was like, oh, like if she got into an argument with him, it was her way of getting on his good side. So she would find a way for him to get pissed off at other people.
Oh, well, so-and-so said.
And and I remember she did it to me one time, and that was all she had to do was that one time. And I said, never again. You know what I mean? And because he came to me, he goes, Kev, you said this? And I said, yeah. Because she asked me my opinion. And he got a little upset, but then he said, all right. I go, dude, it's the truth. I'm not lying. This is what I think. But why would she ask me my opinion on your relationship? Not that it's my business, but she asked me, and I was being a friend. Like, if you ask me my opinion on your relationship right now, I'll tell you. And I'll tell you right now, you need to break up with her because clearly the chick is an idiot the way she handles things.
That's not nice.
And sure enough, they broke up anyway. You know, he last time I saw him, he looks like he's very happy. She's already gone through her first divorce herself. Not that I'm happy about that. I'm just saying, you know, I guess.
You knew the relationship was not
Yeah,
going
it
to work.
wasn't gonna
Yes.
All right. Next one. You must avoid sharing personal family business with other women. This is a big no-no for me, regardless of my wife. This has to do with my kids, too. I have a problem with this.
But isn't that almost the same as...
No, if you want to give, don't
the
do that.
intimacy.
Don't do
okay.
that.
Never mind.
Don't do that. The family business is exactly what the name says it is. It belongs to the family and shouldn't be just for ears or of other women. Sharing such confidential and delicate information may end up hurting you and your family. Hence, you must demonstrate your love for your family by keeping family business where it should be, within the family. So look, let me tell you, I have a big problem with this. Okay, I have a problem with this. If if it's happening within these doors, within this home, it's our business. My son, I had to tell him this not long back. I said, buddy, you're gonna talk stuff with your friends. I get it. You're your best friends, whatever it is. You feel you got to talk about things. Boy, you better keep certain things to yourself. Mm-hmm. Don't be talking about our personal business to just everyone. And he was like, oh, but it's such and such. It's just such and such. And again, this is the spousal side. But I got a problem with this regardless. Okay? There are certain things that, unless we want to speak out about them, should not be shared. Okay? You don't know. My BBB could be shooting to the left right now. You don't need to know that. Okay? I might be shooting sparks when I fart. Okay? Whatever it is, you know what? That's still our personal family business. Money is a big thing. Do not discuss business with other people, especially with our family. Absolutely not.
It's nobody's business.
It is nobody's business. Okay, next one. You should avoid complimenting other women too much.
Okay.
Let me sit back on this one.
Well, I like the ending, too much. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't compliment other women. I don't...
Well, that's what it says here. Compliments
that's why I
are
said
good,
I appreciate
and
the
they are
too
not
much.
just the sole property of your wife. So you can compliment, but again, too
Absolutely.
much. Okay.
Absolutely. Just don't go overboard because the person is going to feel uncomfortable. Like, dude, aren't you married? Or your wife is like, what the hell? What's going on? I think it's to a limit. Like, I agree, oh, she looks gorgeous in that dress. And my husband agrees, oh, yeah, so-and-so, you look beautiful. Or I don't see anything wrong with that. But if he goes on and on, I'll be like, what the hell is wrong with you?
But I don't.
So
That's not a problem.
No.
I'll compliment. I'll definitely compliment. I mean, I've complimented people at work. I'm like, oh, you look nice today. You know, that's a nice color on you. That sort of thing. I'm not going to say, hey, your boobies are sticking out. That's fantastic. No, I reserve that one for this one right here.
Or someone can report it to HR.
Well, I'm not going to say it at work. Remember the girl that I told you that I saw in Dunkin' Donuts? This was a few years ago.
Yeah.
So there was this tall black woman, very attractive, right? And I'm standing waiting for my donut. And I literally, all I did was turn to her and go, wow, you look very nice today. And she gave me this look like who are you? And I stood there for a second and I'm like, see, you shouldn't have done that. But because I was just being complimentary. I wasn't being,
You weren't
whatever
very
reason.
dirty or anything.
It wasn't anything else. But, I don't let stuff like that go. I say certain things.
She was not having a good
So
day.
I just went, see, this is why all the black guys are going for white women nowadays.
Kevin.
But again, and then she gave me the look like, huh? And I was like, yeah. See, that's what happens when you don't know how to take a compliment.
Sir, you gotta stop.
What? It's not a, but hey, it was a fact.
Okay, but I just saw something here. It says, while you compliment other women, make sure you are not caught in a trap of comparing them with your wife.
What am I, stupid?
I,
Is that, no, there's not, it doesn't say stupid there.
no, it's just a one.
That the one? No, it's a, what do you call it? An EKG. Deet, deet, deet.
Yeah, I think that's ridiculous.
No, you're a fool. Comparing them with what the hell is wrong with you? Okay, now this one is different, and I got an example for this one. Next one, you should avoid calling other women cute nicknames. So I'm going to give the description. Calling other women endearments such as sweetheart, darling, and hun is a bad idea for a married man. Such conduct doesn't befit your status as a married man and should be stopped. Your intentions may be innocent, but for the sake of your wife, who loves it when you call her such names, avoid making it something the public can have access to. Go ahead, and then I'm going to tell you something afterwards.
I don't know. I don't think you've ever done that.
Oh, I do.
Well, hun, you say hun.
Hey, I don't call anybody like babe or sweetie.
No.
I maybe sweetie once in a while, but not like anything.
But like
maybe I'd love to throw a darling out there just because.
Darling.
Yeah, which
He's
I think
from the South.
I think that's cute, but but no, I don't. I certainly don't. Oh, the love of my life, lover. No, I don't do that. But I'll tell you something. I remember Pop calling someone babe in front of Ma. And Ma's reaction was, why are you calling her that?
I would have done the same thing.
Pero, hold on a second. It wasn't so much that at least she didn't make it seem like it bothered her for her sake. She made it seem like more of, you shouldn't call women babe.
Yeah.
That's what bothered her more.
I agree.
Because I say hun, especially to our close friends. Mm-hmm. I even say it, I usually say kid at work to most of the, hey kid, even
to the daughters
to the girls
of our friends.
Even to the girls, I'll say
calls
it
the
girls
kid,
at work. I'll say
you
kids.
call the boys pup,
Yes,
and you
I
call the
them pup.
girls hun.
Yeah, I get pup from anybody ever saw Jungle Book. Baloo used to call Mowgli pup, and I always call the boys that, whether it's our own sons or my younger cousins or
Friends.
or our friends' kids and stuff like that. Yeah, or
Yeah,
our friend or our kids' friends.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I don't.
but no, I don't know. I think it's again a sign of endearment. Mm-hmm. It's not a hey babe.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't like
I'm a
you
little
to
too
call
old to be
anybody
calling.
babe or.
I'm a little too old to be calling anybody babe anyway. All right, I don't mind a darling. I think.
Yeah.
I don't mind a sweetie, as long as it's not condescending. I think. And also, as long as it's not excessive in front of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, sweetie, I'll say something like, hey, hun, whatever. Because, I call you other things, but that's not something we're going to repeat on here. But still.
This is a little off for me because it could also be, like you said, terms of endearment. I got in trouble with HR one time. I'm usually at this place. I was one of the second oldest or something at the office, and I used to call my coworkers, "Oh, hun, can you do me this favor, or can you check that out?" And okay, and HR called me and said, "Look, you can't be calling people hun," and I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
So you have to be careful because some people might misconstrue that. Whatever. Well, I I tried to stop. But it's just like I look at them, and that's not how you do it. It's like this. Whatever. I can't do right
I'm
now.
doing it right now.
Yeah. Well, anyway, next.
All right, so last one. You should avoid telling other women that your marriage is going through a rough patch. So I'm going to give a bit of a description here. Having marriage troubles? Well, you should hardly be the first to experience marriage issues. The fact that you are going through marital troubles doesn't mean you should start discussing your marriage and its issues with other women. Keep your marriage issues private and try to work it out with your wife. You may involve a professional or counselor to help your marriage get through the rough patches. Show some respect for your relationship and work with your wife patiently and lovingly to get over the stormy phase of your relationship. I think this also goes back to the keep the personal stuff personal, right? You know, you must avoid sharing personal family business.
And you don't want to tell people that you feel your marriage is...
I think that's, I feel that if it's gotten to that extent, it may have already gotten past the point of no return.
Yeah.
Right?
Because in my opinion, you're looking for something. If you're telling someone, another woman.
Are you looking for sympathy or empathy or...
or getting lucky.
Patheticness? I don't know.
Maybe.
Pathetic?
Once again, that shoulder to cry on, and then it could turn into something else.
Man, I think you need to keep your mouth shut. If there is a true issue, go to a therapist, a counselor, psychiatrist, whatever the heck it is.
But
I'm sorry, your local pastor or your rabbi
Yes.
or whatever it is that
Yes.
you go to, whatever religion you're in at the moment. Maybe they can assist you, or they can at least point you in the right direction.
yes. But it also, I don't know, these things I don't think they fall under us very well, because I remember a friend of ours did discuss her
Oh,
marriage.
remember that? I know which one you're talking about.
And because...
And I was like, I don't want to know this.
I know, but she felt comfortable enough with us.
She was saying
And
things.
she felt like we knew where she was coming from, because...
How did she know what the stuff she was discussing was way too... I remember she even, at least this is the one I'm thinking you're talking about, that she even said to me, oh, can you speak to him about it, about the sex?
Well, this
I'm
is what I'm saying. They felt... she felt comfortable enough to
Hell
speak to
no,
us
I'm not
about
doing that. Do you know how emasculating that would be if somebody said it to me? Imagine, I wouldn't do that to another guy.
Point
no,
is-
and I'm not a licensed therapist, so no, absolutely not.
And let me tell you, you do, God forbid, if this would happen in our relationship and someone will come and tell me, I'll be like, oh, so he spoke to you about this. I said, give me a minute. I will go find you and
I don't
beat
blame
your
you.
ass.
And I
That's
don't
like
blame
nobody's
you.
business.
But I wouldn't blame you for that, because we've had other friends, we've had relatives that have done this,
Yeah.
that come to me or come to us and tell us things, and I'm like,
That's why I'm
well,
saying they
are
feel
you just
comfortable.
are you just wanting me to hear this? You know, are you just wanting for me to listen to you talk bad about my friend or cousin or whoever? Or are you looking for advice? Because my only advice is this: go talk to them.
Exactly.
Because it's unfair, because now I know things about your relationship that I shouldn't know. One. And don't get me wrong, I love you. I do. But this is something you need to discuss with them. Maybe you need to get somebody, a third party involved, but I'm not it. Because if and when we ever get into, let's say, what's the thing? Life coaching, let's say. I'm not taking on anybody we know. Because I don't want any personal stuff out there.
Well, we've had the experience, like I said, people
we've had
feel
plenty of them.
comfortable enough with
and
us.
I sort of get it, because, again, I'm going to refer to work, because it happens to me at work all the time. People come in, and I've offered, so it's like I can't deny them. But they'll come in, they'll sit down, they'll tell me stuff, and I'm sitting there going, okay, have you spoken to that? And my first response always is one of two things. The first thing is, do you want my opinion, or you just want to vent? You want my opinion, and if they say, yeah, tell me your opinion. Okay, my opinion is, go tell that person. Go tell the person. Because you know what? It's unfair right now that I know all this about them, and maybe they don't even realize they're doing this to you, or they're making you feel that way. Better yet,
That happened to us recently. Well, to me, and it had nothing to do with marital or spouses or anything. It was just friends. And I brought something up to a group of my friends, and then they stated, "Have you spoken to this person? You guys should speak to that person and let them know how you feel."
I did that to you not long ago.
Yeah, but I'm saying like in a group, like it wasn't husband and wife. It was just friends
I
to
know.
friends.
And remember, I told you guys, have you spoken to this person? They
So when
need
the
to
other
know
person
this.
told us that, I was like, yeah, I guess. And he's like, well, that's exactly what I said.
Yeah.
We just had to hear it from someone else.
Yeah, because she never listens to me. No, I'm not. That's not totally true. But still. In conclusion, as a husband, you must be aware that everything you say and do sends a message, either intentionally or not. Hence, you must be careful in your interaction with other women to maintain appropriate and innocent interactions. If a woman tries to interact with you in a way that you don't consider appropriate, it is also important that you clearly define your relationship to avoid troubles and that stem from such inappropriate interactions. When you regard your wife as the most important person in your life, you will enjoy a successful and peaceful marriage. I don't know about peaceful, but more of a successful marriage. My conclusion to this. Guys, if you're having issues with your wife or your husband, whichever way this is going, because a lot of this can apply to both ways.
Your significant other.
Right? Stop talking to other people. Stop looking for other people's opinions. If there's true issues, seek someone professional. Or someone that you both can rely on a true opinion.
We're not saying don't speak to people, to your friends, because that's what they're there for
Right.
each other.
But do it in front of each other and agree on it before you start speaking on it.
And be aware of what you're saying. Like Kevin says, there's certain things that are like, TMI.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. We have a couple of friends that literally there is no holds barred. Right?
Yeah.
We just did it about
everything.
2 weeks ago. We were talking about stuff, and I couldn't believe that she brought stuff up, but I wasn't embarrassed by it. I was just surprised and it was personal stuff regarding her. And I said, "Oh, all right, we're doing this, okay." And I got into it
because we feel comfortable with
and
them,
I was
and they
okay
feel
with that,
comfortable with
because
us. Yeah.
they're part of family, right?
That's
That'll be a future episode. Yes, we're trying to coin that phrase. I'm pretty sure plenty of people have heard it before.
Yeah.
But we are definitely trying to coin it. But yeah, guys, don't do that. Don't. I mean, and that goes for any sort of relationship.
Friendship.
Talk to the person direct. I'm a huge proponent of that, and yes, I say that a lot. But I'm a huge proponent of it. Just, if you've got an issue with this person, whoever it may be, whether it's your spouse or not, just talk to them. And then if it's still not working out and you want it to work out, certainly look for someone professional, a therapist, a counselor, like I said, anyone, a religious, whatever religious figure that's part of your religion or whatever. But yeah, don't look to other people, especially someone that you just met, because
Or someone you don't
fellas,
trust. Yeah.
don't be a dumbass. She could be doing the same thing, and I'm pretty sure you're not going to appreciate it either. Right? With that being said, we want to thank everyone for listening.
Yes.
Whether you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeart, Pandora, Audible, Castbox.
Follow, share.
Please follow and share. Certainly comment.
Yes.
Go to our website
Like.
if you like. KevinLilHaveWeMet.com. We just had it redesigned by our boy Steve.
Woohoo! Steve.
Yes, and if you like it, certainly let us know. He'll certainly assist with anything you need, of course, for a fee. But yeah, and thanks for listening.
Bye.